One of my subscribers asked me, was I gonna do or talk about Travis Scott in the sense of everything that's been going on since the Astroworld fiasco that occurred a couple weeks ago. And like I said, this is a story that I've been trying to like duck and dodge, but when I'm learning and hearing things now, it's like, okay, I see it for what it is. Yes, what happened and occurred at that festival at that concert, I should say, was a tragedy where people did die and lose their lives. Like, that's exactly what I can't do too many crowded spaces. I could not go to a festival like that or a concert like that. I just could not do it. It's too many people. Not that I'm claustrophobic or anything, but that's just way too many people to be around at one time in that capacity. And granted, like I said, Travis Scott does have some blame in this. However, the making of him being the only person who was to blame is absurd. Granted, this is definitely a wake-up call for him because, you know, the stuff that he has said in the past, I don't have to rehash that. Many of you are already aware. I talked about it in my live stream. If you listen to some of the people that I've listened to or follow on YouTube, they've talked about it as well. But I know an extortion when I see it, because I have never seen a lawsuit pile up on one celebrity like this ever. At least not to these great lengths, because they said that Travis Scott has lawsuits that are piled on to like over $1 billion. I'm like, Travis Scott is not even a billionaire. Like, I see they're trying to drain this man of his resources. That's from my viewpoint. Because like I said, he's not the only person that is involved with this whole situation. He's not the only one that is responsible. Some of the people that were there who like had their kids there, and like I said, condolences to the family of the ones who lost that 9-year-old, and I think it was a 10-year-old that died. Condolences to them. However, why did you have your children there? Why? You knew what kind of element that was going to be. You should not have had them there. It's one thing if you go to like an arena or a closed in space that had seats, then you know you'll be good. But you was in like a festival setting with no chairs and so many people. And now all these lawsuits are just popping up everywhere. It seems like a new lawsuits pop up every week. Like they said, the lawsuits have piled up of over $1 billion. So now I think people are just doing this to try to get a bag. Now, granted, not to take anything away from the people who actually have lost something or people who were injured, but now it's like over $1 billion. That's a lot of money. So I'm starting to question some of the motives. Now I'm going to go ahead and read this article that's coming from Insider that's dated December 9, 2021. It says a lawyer for a 9-year-old Astroworld victim said Travis Scott and others were clearly aware of the dangers at the music festival. Here's the thing. The people there were aware of it as well. Like, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around why people would bring their kids there. And that's the question nobody seems to want to ask. Or not enough people are asking, why was a 9-year-old or any minor for that matter at this concert? That's what I've been trying to figure out. It says a lawyer representing Astroworld victims told Insider that Travis Scott's first lengthy interview Thursday since the festival proved that the hip hop artist and others knew of the dangers of the festival. In a 51-minute interview with Charlemagne the God, Scott said he was unaware of the dangers and injuries in the crowd. It was his first public appearance since the festival that resulted in a crowd surge, killing 10 and injuring hundreds of others. Scott said the energy from the concert felt like a regular show, adding that the crowd members were there to have a good time, not to cause harm. Attendees described the deadly surge at the concert as a battle scene from the Game of Thrones and a fight for survival. During the interview, the rapper claimed that he didn't know the exact details until minutes before the press conference, which took place after he had performed. Scott also previously claimed that he was not told his festival had turned into a mass casualty event while he was on stage and performed for an additional 30 minutes following the declaration. People pass out, things happen at concerts, but something like that. He added without finishing the sentence. He told Charlemagne that he had even stopped the concert on a few occasions to make sure the audience members were okay. Robert C. Hiller, attorney for the family of 9-year-old Ezra Blount, the youngest festival victim, rejected Scott's claim that he wasn't aware of the dangers in the crowd. It is clear from carefully watching Mr. Scott's interview that he and others were clearly aware of the potential safety dangers of this concert and the catastrophic deficiencies that led to these terrible deaths and injuries, Hiller wrote in an email to Insider. Several families of the people who died rejected Scott's attempt to pay for funeral costs. Scott said he was devastated by the event and their deaths, but also denied legal responsibility, according to CNN. On Monday, Scott asked for 11 of the cases against him to be dismissed with prejudice, Insider previously reported. When asked by Charlemagne if he had felt responsible for the tragedy, Scott responded by saying he has a responsibility to figure out what happened here. I have a responsibility to figure out the solution, the rapper continued. Now, I will say this, that response kind of seems like a deflection response because Charlemagne asked him, did he feel responsible for the tragedy? And he came back and said, I have a responsibility to figure out what happened, and I have a responsibility to figure out the solution. That's not really answering the question, so he kind of deflected there. I would have said that I have some responsibility. I went on to say I had full responsibility because everything there was not my fault. It's not like, even though it's my concert, there's several moving parts there that I'm not completely involved with. So I would have said something like that because the response he gave kind of felt standoffish and deflecting. Hiller agreed with Scott that a solution for the families of victims and attendees should be found, but Hiller said that solution does not include Scott and others involved in his festival to continue to dodge responsibility for this tragedy. I'm asking that the defendants, including Mr. Scott, not allow this litigation and the pain of the families as a result to be unduly prolonged through delay, Hiller told Insider. We need to get to the full unvarnished truth as quickly as possible so the healing can begin. And the healing comes in the form of money. I'll finish that statement for him. The healing comes in the form of payments. Realize they said Travis Scott offered to pay the funeral costs for the people that were affected, but they declined it. But they hit him up for money as far as, healing. That's why I said this feels like extortion. Scott's legal team did not immediately respond to Insider's request for comment. Like I said, I have my issues with Travis Scott. That's why when this first happened, I didn't immediately jump out and do a video about it. I just talked about it one time, and that was on my live stream channel. This is the first official video that I'm doing about Travis Scott involving this situation on my channel. I hope to not have to do too many more, but I just wanted to come on here and say that I truly believe that they're trying to extort him. Like I said, I have my issues with him. We all do. But I know extortion when I see and hear about it, and this is definitely some highway robbery they're trying to get out of this man. They're trying to drain him of his resources. No matter what he tries to say or what he tries to do, if it's not coming in the form of a payment for their healing, as the attorney said, they're not trying to hear it. And there's apparently a lot of healing that's going to be had. The fact that they said that these lawsuits have totaled up to the amount that they have, that is insane. Like, he would be flat broke by the time all of this is done, over and done with. He just better be lucky he's with, what's her name? Kylie Jenner. He just better be lucky that he's with her. Because something tells me she'll be supporting him in more ways than one by the time this is all said and done with. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments.